What's going on, guys? Paul Jackson here from Maher Media to recap tonight's difficult loss to the Colorado Avalanche. Basically, the Makar show. If you watch tonight's game, not the most fun game to watch for the first two periods, but the Flyers definitely made it interesting. First and foremost, right? This was another classic Flyers game where it's a tale of two halves. More so, I'd say a tale of two-thirds. I think the first two periods of the game, like I said, it was just one of those nights where it seemed like every opportunity that the Flyers had to capitalize and shift the momentum from the Avs' favor into their favor, they didn't pounce on any opportunity. And that was their downfall for the first 40 minutes of this game, really the first 50, I would say. You have guys injured on the blue line. Obviously, that's one of the biggest stories heading into it, with Drysdale out and York out. 𝐊𝐍𝐔𝐁, credit to him, he stepped in for his NHL debut tonight, and I thought he looked pretty damn good. I mean, as good as you can look considering the circumstances. He registers his first career point on the secondary assist for the Tyson Foerster goal. Really, he's the one who set up that whole play with the intentional bank shot off the wall. So, credit to Grans. I think he looked very good tonight, considering the circumstances. I don't know that he's going to be one of the longer-term pieces here in Philly, but it's good to see a guy who had a little bit of a rough go in the LA system, kind of shifted back and forth and then eventually dealt in the Provorov trade. It's cool to see him get the opportunity to finally step up in an NHL game, especially because I know the Phantoms love him. He's one of those guys that's, maybe not going to top out as an incredible NHLer, or as of right now might not even be an everyday NHLer. But he's still young and there's definitely time to develop. And I think tonight was a really good step in the right direction for him. So, you saw a lot of his game tonight. I think you saw a lot more offense than probably most people would have expected. I think with the Phantoms, he's not necessarily known as the most offensive guy. He's definitely more of a shutdown defenseman, but he was joining in on the rush. He had 2 or 3 shots on goal that I can remember. So, like I said, credit to Grans for stepping up tonight and filling Andre's void in a big way. As far as the injury front goes, though, it's not really getting any better. There was a sequence where probably 3 guys went down like flies in maybe a minute span. Tyson Foerster gets bloodied up along the wall. 𝐊𝐍𝐷 leaves the game, doesn't return, so that's going to be something to watch for the Flyers, because that blue line is already thin and can't really afford to get much thinner, but it seems like that might be the route that it's going. So I don't know who the next man up would be. Hopefully Cam York is rounding the corner to coming back. Same thing with Jamie Drysdale, but as far as that blue line goes, there's going to have to be the next man up mentality is going to have to keep continuing. Joel Farabee's another guy who was banged up a little bit towards the end, blocked the shot, pretty powerful release too. So he stayed in the game. He seemed fine, just a little bit buzzed for a second. So probably just, one of the classic stingers, but something to look forward to, or to keep an eye on, I should say, just moving forward, especially with all the guys that are already out. So, apart from that, Alexei Kolosov, I will say, from all the hate that he was getting and the criticism of, all right, well, this guy's not coming over, he doesn't want to report to the Flyers, that, that was all the talk throughout the summer. A lot of people were ready to just move on, trade him to Calgary or trade him to, Colorado was one of the teams that, needed a goalie. So for all that was said about him, he has played pretty much as good as he can, considering the team that's been put in front of him in some of his starts. I think tonight was another example of team didn't necessarily play great in front of him, but he held his ground, and he shut down a lot of really key guys for Colorado. The only one he couldn't really seem to figure out was Cale Makar, but Cale Makar is the best defenseman in hockey, so it's kind of hard to really put a cap on a guy like that. And when you give him as much time and space as they did, and you saw he put 3 pucks by Kolosov, 2 of them counted, with the one that got disallowed for goalie interference. But it's a dangerous game to play with a guy of that caliber. And I think everything considered and all the shots that Kolosov faced, he did a pretty damn good job at tending to that net tonight. So it's been a theme for his starts. I think everybody's kind of gotten behind the mentality of, all right, well, 𝐊𝐶, that really wasn't on him, or like maybe there's one or two that might be, but it's more so just coming from the team in front of him, which obviously from an organizational standpoint you don't love to see, but from a goalie standpoint, the signs are promising that 𝐊𝐶 is really going to be something special, and it's definitely a relief that he does seem to want to make that happen here. Even if there was hesitation at first, he's here now. So any outing like the one that we saw tonight is encouraging. Carolina, Chicago, and Vegas are up next. Those teams, they're not going to be easy games. I mean, Carolina and Vegas, those are two contending teams, so those are going to be difficult no matter what. Connor Bedard's coming to town with the Blackhawks. Chicago hasn't necessarily been the easiest team to play against this year. Not that they're, perennial contenders or anything like that yet, but they definitely have a little bit of an edge to their game, and especially with Bedard set to play against Michkov for the first time in a very long time, that's going to be an interesting storyline to keep an eye on. So especially with tonight's game, like a guy like Helge Grans, right, coming in on very short notice and stepping in for a guy like Emil Andre, who has been exceptional in his call-up. It's really encouraging to see a player like that step in and perform at the level that he did. So the entire lineup has that mentality, and I think it's a lot easier to think about this team as a potential playoff team. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Tough loss tonight, but a big shot at redemption against the Hurricanes, which is another team that, similar to the Avs, they're in the same boat, right? They're going to be a team that's also, chomping at the bit for wins, and they've been red hot. So, 6-4 loss earlier in the season, that'll be an interesting one. 𝐊𝐶 got the start last time. I have a feeling it'll be 𝐊𝐶 this time. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But that's it for tonight. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and see you guys next time.